Let's imagine that we're watching a game between two beginners. They start by taking the corners, as always, and then they start to play a Joseki. I'm sure that you've seen this variation before. It's a classic. White attaches, Hane, white pulls back, black defends, white jumps, black jumps. But now white defends the corner, black defends the side. First line, black defends, white connects, and black connects. What do you think of this Joseki? Is it a Joseki? Is it good or bad? Well, to answer this question, let's simply count how much each of these moves was worth. It was actually Joseki right till about this point. Now white's corner is safe and black's group is safe. But now white decided to defend the corner. First of all, this is a move on the second line, and this should immediately look suspicious to you. A second line move this early in the opening? It doesn't seem right. And then this move protects a couple of extra points in the corner and threatens to take a few more points away from black here. So maybe, let's say about 7 or 8 points. And then black defends. So this is also worth maybe 6 points. And then white threatens to take them away again. And this is a move on the first line. Ding, 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 ding. Something is wrong again. Maybe a 4 points. Black defends. The same. Now white defends. The same. A few points more. Maybe 4, 3. And black defends. The same. At this point, we have to notice that the whole board is practically empty. There are so many empty spaces everywhere. So if it's white's turn, white could, for example, defend this corner, or like this, or take the upper side, or approach this corner, or approach this corner. Any of these moves could be easily worth up to 15 points or even more. But instead, black and white chose to play these moves on the second and first lines that were worth like 5, 6, or 7 points. Do you see what I'm driving at? Alright, here's the deal. You're white, and I'm offering you a choice. Do you want to capture these 2 stones, or do you want to capture these 7? And before you start arguing that in this position nobody's ever going to pick 2, think of it this way. Every time you're making a tiny move on the first line that doesn't get you any territory, instead of playing in the corner or on the side, this is exactly what you're doing. You're taking less when you could take more. Now let's suppose that we're playing this game against a stronger player. Let's say a 3Q. And as white, we're making this move. How is he going to respond to this? Well, he won't. This move is on the second line. It's not big enough. So for black, instead of responding here, it's a lot better to approach this corner, for example. But we respond, and now we switch sides. Now white is a stronger player. How is white going to respond to this? He won't. Instead of responding in the first line, it's a lot better for white to approach this corner. And this is going to happen every time. Every time you make a move on the second or first line, your stronger opponent has to and will ignore you and play elsewhere. But every time you see that, what's actually happening is that he's taking 7 stones while you are taking only 2. And this is another example from an actual game. Both players are 8Q. Now black approaches the corner. And this is a low diagonal approach. We talked about this before. And it's also on the second line. Now white could simply block. But in the game, white chose to play here, which is also fine. White attacks. Black pulls back. And white defends the corner on the second line. Here, black could definitely play elsewhere. But black chose to defend the stone by descending onto the first line. And we talked about this before as well. White continues to attack. First line, black defends. Second line. And finally, white attacks. Now, all of these moves that were played on the first and second line were not necessary. There's a whole wide world of possibilities out there, and any of those moves played on the corners or on the sides would have been bigger and better than playing these moves here. In the meantime, the game continues. White made some territory on the lower side, and let me show you what happens next. I won't make any comments, just watch. Did you see what just happened here? Black and white completely defined this little part of the board, totally ignoring everything else. Now, we could think of it this way. All of these first and second line moves are the right moves played at the right places, but at the wrong time. If we make them 100 moves later, they might become correct, but right now, it's simply too early to play them. And it seems that there's quite a bit of similarity between the game of Go and quantum physics. Quantum mechanics teaches us that it's really hard to define, to determine our world. Some experiments show that when we try to pinpoint the exact location of electrons, they seem to be in several places at the same time. So there's a great deal of indeterminacy about the world that we live in, and that's just how things are. So when you start to map out the territory in the game of Go, you don't need to know at the beginning what the territory is going to look like at the end. You don't need to know how much you're going to have. And if your opponent invades and takes some of the territory away from you, and then you invade and take some of his territory, this kind of exchange is absolutely normal. This is how the game is meant to be played. So when you're starting to play a game, just forget about those first and second line moves. There is no need to determine your territory so early. Just take the corners, then develop onto the sides, third and fourth lines, take all the big points, and you can worry about those first and second line moves later when the time comes. And if your opponent makes one of these moves, then you should know that it's probably too small, and you can surprise him by ignoring it and playing elsewhere, feeling happy in the knowledge that you're taking 7 stones while he's taking only 2. And now it's time to get some practice and solve some problems.
By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.